Hi everyone, welcome back. And the topic today we're going to cover is cloud database in health data science. It sounds like an interesting topic. I hope you guys find it interesting too. Now let's imagine, obviously that's how I start my lectures with, by making you guys imagine things, and I feel like that is an easier way to, capture and grab things easily. So imagine a doctor standing by a patient who is having an allergic reaction. She needs the patient's allergy history right away, like right now, not after 10 seconds. Now, on the alternate, imagine a researcher trying to study 50,000 COVID patients and for over 3 years. Do you think the same database can handle both efficiently? Take your time, and I hope you guys are able to answer this question at the end of the lecture. Healthcare dataset basically has two very different needs, and that's where the cloud database hops in. It comes in, and we have two different conflicts that we're facing here: the real time care and the retrospective research. The real time care is, I'll be giving you an example, that doctor checking the allergies, nurse updating about the vitals, pharmacist giving the prescriptions. What is the needs here? Very fast, the one patient at a time, and then no errors are allowed, because obviously you're gonna make it worse for the patient. And then we have retrospective research, in that we see the disease trends, we have average recovery rates, and then we have population health studies. The needs in this research are like the millions of records, heavy calculation, aggregates like averages and sums. So a system optimized for real-time care is usually inefficient for the research and vice versa, because in the real-time care you're taking the data for a right now, right away kind of a thing, and in a research you need like an old data history, and then you work on it, you analyze it, you average it, you make some out of it, and then at the end you conclude a result to it. Okay, so the part one here is AWS RDS, online transaction processing, OLTP. Think of AWS RDS like a hospital reception desk. Okay, just imagine this is a hospital reception desk, and on that desk, what happens? One patient at a time, one file opened, small updates, and if that file is closed, then the file of next patient is opened. So the patient checks in, a nurse checks his or her blood pressure, and could be like 120 by 80 or something. The doctor adds a prescription. So this whole process is fast, it is focused, and it is precise. And moving on to the next thing, that is RDS row based storage. We have three types of things that we're going to discuss here. The first is row by row. The data is stored linearly, like in rows. First, you'll be having the ID, then you'll be having the name, and then the blood pressure of that patient. And the disk head reads one continuous block for a single patient. Okay, so when the system needs the data for the John, right, one full row will be appearing for us. And why this is good? Because it is fast access to the individual's data, and it is perfect for a hospital system, that if you want John's data, you're just gonna get it, and you'll be getting a row, and that row will be having all the data about John. Okay, then we have ACID compliance. ACID means the system is reliable. Either it says everything or nothing. The doctor saves a prescription, system crashes. And while the system crashes, there could be like two extremes we'll be having. Prescription is saved fully, or the prescription is not saved at all. So no half prescriptions, because very dangerous in healthcare. As we know, one mistake or error in healthcare will be costing us the lives of the patients. And then we have a use case, and that is basically RDS, electronic health records. We'll be talking about them. And then we have appointment systems, we have live patient monitoring and all that. I'll be asking you a question after this. Would you use AWS RDS to analyze 10 years of cancer data or not? I hope you'll be able to answer that. Moving on to the part two, we have Google BigQuery, online analytical processing, OLAP. We'll be talking about that. Okay, previously we were talking about just a hospital reception desk, a small place with one individual patient's data one by one. Moving on to the research library. Libraries are big. So now imagine a huge research library instead of a reception desk. what would you be wanting? You would be wanting average age of the patient, you'll be wanting average blood pressure, the disease trends, and all that. So you don't have to open every patient file, you open only the column you need. So, talking about the columns, the data here will be recorded in columns. You'll be seeing columns instead of rows. We will be having an example here. This is how it works. The data is stored in columns, not rows. Block A will be having the names, and block B will be having the blood pressures of all those patients. So there is this the magic strategy, and that is, if we want the average blood pressures, we won't be taking the names, we won't be taking the addresses, we won't be taking the contacts. We'll be just extracting out the average of the blood pressures, and we won't be knowing that who that blood pressure basically uh, is connecting with or belongs to, because we're just want the average of it, because for the purpose of research. So only relevant data is scanned, and it is a super fast kind of an analysis. And we have RDS versus BigQuery, exam favorite kind of a questions, the comparison questions. If you take a glance at it, primary goal of AWS is process transaction. For Google BigQuery, you're analyzing the data because you're taking averages, you're talking about the sums. If I talk about the data orientation in them, AWS have a row-based data, and in BigQuery, Google BigQuery, we're taking column kind of a database. And then typical queries in that, AWS and OLTP, you're talking about that, oh, show me the XYZ patient record or something like that. But in the Google BigQuery, in the OLAP kind of a system, you show, you're asking for the trends. You're asking for the trends across 5 million patients, 100 million patients, or any sort of a number of patients. Okay, you're looking at the trends. And then you have health use case. uh, in the OLTP, you'll be talking about the booking an appointment, and in the OLAP kind of a system, you'll be seeing the cancer registry analysis. So next on, we have how will be the data pipeline. Okay, the data pipeline we will be talking about here is, first, your source. The patient walks in, that is your source. So that data that you're going to create from that patient is your source, and then you'll extract the data from that patient, the real time or batch or any kind of a data that you're taking. And the important step, that you'll be transforming that data. How to transform that data? You're going to remove the names, you're going to remove the NICs, CNICs, and then you can anonymize the data, because for the research purposes, you have to keep the data private. You have to make sure that you're not invading the privacy of the people, and the data is secure enough. So then you'll be loading it to the BigQuery. uh, but one thing, remember that you never analyze raw patient data. You're always going to transform it. Okay, so then you load it. In the loading, you're going to clean it, you're going to save it, and then you're going to make it ready for the research. Moving on to the next thing, very exciting thing, that BigQuery public data sets. You have public data sets out there. You don't have to go to the individual patients, taking their readings and then just analyzing it and making a data for yourself and then researching it. No, you have public data sets. First one is the COVID-19 data set, and then you have 100 genomic patient data sets, and then you have CMS Medicare. And these are all the kind of data sets which are publicly available for you guys to perform research on. Then we have security in HIPAA. You might know HIPAA by now, but if you don't, let's talk about it. We have shared responsibility here. The cloud provider protects the cloud, like the servers and the infrastructure, but the data scientists, you guys protect data and access and encryption. So you guys are having a big responsibility, no? And then we move on to the BAA required, the Business Associate Agreement, we call it. Before uploading PHIA, your institution must sign a Business Associate Agreement with AWS or Google. So it is a legal requirement that you guys have to go on with, because cloud is not insecure, but misuse is an insecurity that we all are scared of. Moving on to the key takeaways. In the key takeaways, we have RDS, ETL, and BigQueries. Healthcare needs two systems. RDS, like a real time patient care, BigQuery, like the large care analysis, and ETL connects both of them safely. So, security is everyone's responsibility, and yeah, it goes on like that. And I'll be concluding this lecture with a question, that if you were designing a system for diabetic patients today, which data would you use? Would you stay in RDS, and which would you move to BigQuery? And I hope you guys are able to answer this question by end of this lecture. Thank you so much.